So now we move on to chapter 14. It's called The Secret. So remember what happened in the previous chapter. Eileen's husband John came home badly beaten. He had got into a fight with an agent, a landlord's agent, and he had been badly hurt in the fight. He had been drawn into the fight by another tenant who had started it. So now Eileen is worried that the police will call to their door about it, and they're also worried about the fact that the landlord intends to get a lot of tenants off the land so that he can make one big farm or a couple of big farms and then sell them off to people like Hussey, who was the landlord's agent. That was the person that was involved in the fight. So chapter 14 is called The Secret. It's a short one today. Mary Bridget gasped when she saw her father's face next morning. She watched, perplexed, that means confused, as he walked slowly around the kitchen as if all his bones hurt. His left eye had turned a horrible purple-black colour. "Daddy, Daddy, what happened to you?" she screamed, half afraid. "I was in a bit of a fight, pet, and now I'll have to take it easy for a few days." Mary Bridget's head was full of questions about who her father had been fighting and why, but one look at her mother's white face and blotchy, tear-stained eyes told her not to say too much. "Hurry along, Mary Bridget, or you'll be late for school," urged Eileen, lacing up the child's heavy black brogues are shoes, and fetching a small can of milk and a wrapped chunk of soda bread for her. Mary Bridget ran to say goodbye to her father before setting off on the 3/4 of a mile walk with her mother to the small whitewashed school at the crossroads. "Ouch," she said as she flung her arms around his neck. "Listen, pet, not a word about this to your teacher or any of your friends, do you hear?" "Yes, Daddy." "If anyone asks you, Mary Bridget, your daddy was at home here with us all night," added Eileen. Mary Bridget stared from one to the other. She didn't understand a bit of it, and now her mammy and daddy wanted her to tell a lie on top of everything else. "'Twill be a lie," she said softly. "'Twill be a fib," said her mother, "and one that you will tell if anyone asks you. You're a big girl now, and you know enough not to discuss the goings-on of last night with anyone." "Aye," agreed Mary Bridget, who, if the truth be told, felt more like a small, scared girlie than a big girl who could be trusted to keep a secret. The Hennesseys were gone. Not a single one of the boys came to school, and the schoolmaster was right annoyed with them. Joe Clancy, a 12-year-old neighbour, had called to the cottage door, only to find it wide open. There wasn't a trace of the twins or any of the family. They'd all scarpered. "Gone, just gone," he told the whole class, as Mary Bridget pretended to look at the map of Ireland on the wall and tried to make sense of what was going on. So the Hennesseys were Mary Bridget's friends where she got the kitten. The next few days she spent helping Eileen with the heavy chores or jobs around the place, the house and the farm, trying to hold the cow steady as her mother milked it, and helping to clean out the small, stinking pig pen while her father remained hidden indoors until the bruises on his face began to fade. She missed the twins. 'Twas lucky that she had the little cat to remember them by. She couldn't help but wonder where they had run off to. At school, Sally Nolan told her that the police were searching for Mr. Hennessy. They said that he had half killed the land agent, and if they caught him, he'd be put in prison forever or hung. So Mr. Hennessy, the father of the twins, was the man who was involved in the attack on the land agent that Eileen's father had also got involved in. Mary Bridget could hardly play or sleep with the worry of it all, and her dreams were haunted by the vision of her daddy in irons and chains, being transported to some far-off land. Back in the 1800s, many people from Ireland were transported to Australia as punishment for crimes, even for little crimes. They were taken away from their families and friends and what they knew, and it took weeks and weeks and weeks to get as far as Australia in very bad ship conditions. That was their punishment, and they were never able to or allowed to come back, and that's what she's worried about. That's the end of that chapter. We'll be moving on to chapter 15 tomorrow. Thanks for listening.